I remember the light first. It is not a lamp or a hospital light, it is soft and alive, like gentle rivers of white. The light moves around me and holds me. It feels like a warm blanket from the inside. The pain I expect does not arrive. The crash sound fades, the fear fades. I feel rocked, like a baby in safe arms. I do not hear words the way we speak here. I feel meanings open inside me, clear and calm. It is like someone is speaking through music, and I already know the song. The message is simple and kind. We want to help you. Ask us. It is not bossy. It is not loud. It is steady, like a hand on my back saying, keep breathing. I float in that white place, and time is strange. It does not tick. It just rests. I feel seen without being watched. I feel known without having to explain anything at all. I try to tell you this in plain words, because the truth likes simple clothes. The light has a weight, but it is not heavy. It has a warmth, but it does not burn. It holds the parts of me that are shaking and says, you are safe. I do not see mouths. I do not see faces. I feel the presence of love, the way you feel sunlight on your skin. It knows my name, and the nickname my heart calls itself. It is home and also brand new. I do not ask, is this real? I only think, oh, so this is what real feels like. I remember looking down without eyes, and seeing my body far away. I know I should be scared, but I am not. The light is like a hug that does not end. It has no edges. It is everywhere. And it is also close, right at my cheek. I think of all the things I worried about just a little while ago. They look small from here. They look like tiny knots. I tied myself, up here they begin to loosen. The voices that are not voices tell me again. Ask for help. They say there is choice on earth. They do not push. They wait for the ask. I understand. It feels fair and loving. I do not know how long I am in this place. It could be one breath, or a whole day. Time does not matter. What matters is the peace. It fills every corner. If I could draw this for you, I would draw soft white waves and a quiet sky, and in the middle a heart that stops shaking. I would draw an open door. I would draw calm. I do not want to leave. I also know I am not alone. Something strong and kind is near me. It is like family I always had, but forgot to remember. I breathe and the light breathes with me. And I think, if this is death, I am not afraid. And then a new thought arrives. Gentle and clear. You are not done. Ask, and we will help you live. The night of the crash felt normal at first. I remember the cool air, the excitement of being in that old Corvette, the kind of car that makes people turn their heads. It was small and low to the ground. The engine hummed like it was proud of itself. I sat in the passenger seat. I was relaxed. I had one foot up on the dashboard, the other crossed over it. I leaned back, thinking nothing bad could ever happen to me. I was 19. At 19, you feel like life will give warnings before anything breaks. The road was dark, but we were laughing. Music played low. I remember feeling free for a moment, like the world wasn't heavy on me. Then something shifted. The driver reached toward me in a way I did not want. His hand came too close. I pulled back and said, no. The word came out firm, but scared. I saw his expression change. Anger flashed across his face, and then, without warning, he jerked the steering wheel. Everything happened at once. The car spun. I felt the world twist sideways. Gravel sprayed like sparks. My stomach dropped. There was no time to think, to plan or to pray. I only had one thought. This is not happening. But it was. The car fish-tailed, hit a huge boulder, and flipped. I did not feel the moment my body was thrown, but I remember the sudden lift. It was like my body stopped being heavy. My back left the seat. I was flying forward, almost slow, like time was tired too. The windshield wasn't breaking. It was opening, and I was going through it. I expected pain. I expected fear. But something strange happened. Right when I should have felt the impact, Everything went quiet. My soul slipped out of my body. I could see myself falling toward the ground, but I wasn't inside that falling body anymore. I was above it. Light surrounded me like soft hands, catching a child. I did not hit the ground with pain. My body did, but I did not. Instead, I felt safe. There was someone beside me. Someone I did not know, but somehow recognized. A presence. A guide. I called him Casper later, because he felt familiar and gentle, like a friendly guardian. He was not a man with wings. He was more like a shape made of kindness. I could hear things, but not with ears. I understood things without words. It was telepathy, like thoughts passed gently into me. Casper and others spoke through feelings. They were calm, strong, patient. Down below, people rushed around my body. They thought I was gone. I saw them put a blanket over me. I saw people crying. I saw a world without me in it. But from where I was, there was peace, not fear. I did not want to go back. The light held me, rocking me like a gentle wave. It felt like love, without conditions. Love that doesn't ask you to earn it. In that moment, for the first time in my life, I was not trying to please anyone. I was simply held. For 19 years, all I remembered from the accident was the white light and the feeling of being held. Nothing else. It was like my mind had locked the painful part of the story inside a box and thrown away the key. I continued life with just that one memory. The light felt safe, and I was not afraid. I didn't remember the crash. I didn't remember flying through the windshield. I didn't remember saying no. My body remembered, but I did not. After the accident, I spent months in the hospital. Tubes, machines, casts, surgeries, pain was everywhere. My body was broken in many places. I had lost part of my foot, my wrist was torn open, and there were deep cuts and burns. Doctors worked hard to keep me alive. They kept saying, "It's a miracle she survived." My father didn't show softness. Instead, he reminded me that I got into a car with someone who had been drinking. He said I had made a bad choice. I already felt ashamed, and his words made the shame heavier. I left the hospital months later. But I didn't leave the trauma. I carried it inside me like a heavy backpack. I didn't talk about my feelings. I didn't know how. At home, feelings were not welcome. I learned to hide pain, smile, and say I was fine. But my body did not believe that smile. When I felt scared or overwhelmed, I ate. Food became my comfort. If I felt a difficult emotion, anger, sadness, fear, I would eat to make it quiet. I didn't know I was overeating to push down feelings. I didn't know how to face. I gained weight, then felt guilty, then ate again to make the guilt quiet. It became a cycle I didn't understand. I stayed busy to avoid thinking. I studied nutrition. I worked in public health. I worked too much, helped too many people, and ignored myself. On the outside, I looked successful. On the inside, I was lonely and confused. I didn't let anyone close emotionally. I didn't trust closeness. When a man got angry with me, something in my chest froze and screamed. Danger. I didn't know why. I only knew that conflict made me feel unsafe. Then one morning, 19 years after the accident, my memory came back. It was simple. I stopped at a Starbucks before work. I took a sip of my coffee, and suddenly, like a movie screen turning on inside my mind, I saw myself in that Corvette. I saw my foot up on the dashboard. I saw the driver reach for me. I heard myself say, "No." I saw his face change. Then the wheel jerked. It hit me so hard, I had to sit down. I felt dizzy. My heart pounded. Tears came without warning. I saw everything. The spinning car, the boulder, the throw through the windshield. My hands shook. I thought, oh my God, this is why I'm afraid. When men get angry, this is why I try to please everyone. This is why I can't say no without trembling. It was like someone turned on the light in a dark room I had lived in for years. Later I went to my chiropractor. I told him what I remembered, how the memory hit me out of nowhere. He listened quietly, and then said something that changed everything. Your body finally feels safe enough to tell you the truth. Safe enough. Those two words melted something inside me. My body had been protecting me until I was strong enough to handle the truth. He told me to go home and rest. The rest of the memory will come, he said. That night, more pieces returned. The car flipping. The moment my soul left my body. The angel, the presence catching me. The light, for the first time in 19 years. I had the full story. And suddenly, my wounds made sense. My eating disorder made sense. My fear of conflict made sense. My need to please everyone made sense. The truth didn't break me. It freed me. On the other side, everything felt different from Earth. There was no confusion, no pressure, no rushing. I did not have a body like here. I was more like a soft shape made of light. I could see everything around me, not just what was in front of me. I could see behind me without turning. My vision was 360 degrees, full and open, like I was part of the air itself. I did not have to blink. I did not have to focus. I just understood what I was seeing. The colors were unreal. On Earth, we have names for colors. Blue, green, but in that place, the colors were deeper, richer, almost alive. They moved gently, like water. Some shades were so new that my mind here cannot label them. It is like trying to describe a color no one has seen. Words are too small. There was music too, but not made by instruments. It was made of feeling. Imagine listening to your favorite 7 songs at once, and instead of noise, they blend and make one perfect sound. The music wasn't just heard. It moved through me. It felt like love, in sound form. And I was not alone. There were beings around me. Guides, angels, whatever word you want to use. They did not have wings or halos. They were more like light with personality. They communicated without mouths. They sent thoughts into me gently. It felt like receiving messages through vibrations. I didn't translate anything into English until I came back. But while I was there, I understood everything perfectly. They told me one simple thing. Ask for help. They said we are not meant to carry everything alone. We have free will, so they will not step in unless we invite them. It didn't sound strict. It sounded respectful. Here on Earth, we think asking for help is weakness. There it was normal. It was connection. They told me I have at least one angel always with me. Some people have more. These angels are with us from birth to our last breath. They stay close like shadows of love. They want a relationship with us. They notice the small things we do, the fears we hide, the dreams we do not speak. They wait for us to reach out. All we have to do is ask. Sometimes even a whisper is enough. Since coming back, I ask my angels for little things, like finding a parking spot. And it happens. Over and over again. Sometimes even before I finish asking. It feels like they smile and say, "We heard you." Over time, I learned their names. Serafina, Violet. And then there was the one I called Casper. He felt familiar, like someone I should know but couldn't place yet. I didn't know his true identity until much later. On the other side, these angels were not just guides. They were comfort. They were safety. They were love without judgment. They didn't care how I looked, what I achieved, or how strong I pretended to be. They loved my soul, exactly as it was. In that place, I finally understood something simple. I was never alone. Not then. Not ever. That coming back into my body was the hardest thing I have ever done. When I was in that light, I felt safe. I felt loved in a way I had never felt on Earth. So when the angels told me, "You have to go back," I didn't want to. I looked down and saw my body lying on the ground, near the crash site. I could see blood, twisted metal, and broken glass. I could see people trying to help. I could see panic, fear, chaos. And I thought, no. I don't want to go back there. I knew my body was injured. I knew going back meant pain. I knew it meant fear. It meant waking up inside a life I no longer wanted. The angel beside me, Casper, spoke to me through feeling. He showed me my future. He showed me that I had a purpose. He showed me moments where I would speak, and someone would feel less afraid of death. He showed me that my voice would matter. I didn't feel ready. I didn't feel strong. But the light around me held me gently, like hands on my shoulders saying, "You are not alone." Then everything changed. I was suddenly back in my body. Pain rushed in like a wave, crashing on rocks. I could feel pressure on my chest. Paramedics were doing CPR. My blood pressure was dangerously low, 60/0. Someone shouted orders. Lights flashed. Sirens screamed. People moved fast around me. It was like watching a storm from inside a paper boat. I could hear voices saying, "We're losing her." I slipped out again. I went back toward the light. It pulled me like a magnet. No pain, no fear, just peace. I didn't want to leave it. But again I was pulled back. Later, in the operating room, my heart stopped again. I floated above my body. I watched doctors working on me. I saw the surgeon's face tense with worry. I heard someone say, "She's gone." I saw my parents in the waiting room, holding each other, praying. I wanted to stay in the light. I felt tired. I felt done. But then I felt Casper again. He held me with pure love. No force, no yelling. Just love. He said without words, "Not yet." I slipped back into my body again, like sliding into cold water. My heart started beating on its own. It shocked the medical staff. A nurse ran out of the operating room yelling. Her heart just started again. I felt trapped inside the broken body. Tubes down my throat. Pain in every part of me. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. Nurses rolled me to ICU. Machines beeped like sharp metal birds. I wanted to leave. I wanted to go back to the light. But my soul stayed. Those days in the hospital felt like learning how to be alive again. I could not walk. I could not use the bathroom by myself. I could not feed myself. I needed help for everything. It felt humiliating at times. I felt weak, helpless, frustrated. Sometimes I cried without sound. But every time I felt like giving up, I remembered the light. I remembered being held. I remembered the message. Ask for help. And slowly I began to understand that staying in this body was not punishment. It was purpose. Life had sent me back, not to suffer, but to live differently, to speak, to help others, not fear death, to learn how to love myself, not perform for love. The angels didn't save my life. They gave me back my life. After the surgeries and months of recovery, I tried to return to normal life, but nothing felt normal anymore. I was not the same person. My body had changed, but so had my soul. I felt like I had left something important in that white light. I tried to talk about what I had experienced, but my family didn't want to hear it. My father especially didn't believe me. He said I disappointed him because I had broken his rules. No drinking, no dating cadets, no getting into cars like that. He blamed me for the accident. He didn't care that the driver was drunk. He didn't care that I had said no, and that the driver got angry. He didn't care that I had almost died. Instead of comfort, I got blame. It hurt more than the physical pain. He believed in a strict God, a punishing God, a God who kept score. He believed that everything bad that happened was a result of sin or mistakes. I tried to explain my experience, how I felt held by something loving, how I met beings of light, who felt like family. He shut me down. He said that wasn't God. That was your imagination. For a long time his words made me doubt myself. I wondered if maybe I was crazy. I wondered if maybe I had made it all up. But every time I closed my eyes, I could feel that warmth again. I could feel the peace. I could feel the love. And I knew deep down that what I experienced was more real than anything here. My mother stood beside my father. She followed his beliefs. She believed what he believed. She chose his comfort over my truth. When I tried to talk about trauma therapy, she said, "You don't need therapy. Jesus is your healer." She believed prayer alone should fix everything. I loved Jesus, But my pain needed more than prayer. It needed healing. It needed patience. It needed someone to say, I see you. I hear you. They never said those words. For years I kept trying to win their approval. I tried being the good daughter. I tried being quiet. I tried explaining my experience in softer words. I tried making myself small. But love that has conditions is not love. It is control. One day I realized something simple. I didn't survive death just to keep dying inside someone else's expectations. I decided to choose myself. I stepped away from both of my parents. It was not an angry choice. It was a necessary one. I had to protect my peace. I had to protect the part of me the angels helped me find. I stopped reaching out. I stopped trying to convince them. I stopped trying to earn love. I started giving myself what I had been begging for. Gentleness, acceptance, freedom. I learned that boundaries are not walls. They are doors that you decide when to open. After I created that distance, something amazing happened inside me. I stopped walking around, hurt. I stopped blaming myself. I stopped thinking I was broken. I started feeling light again. Not the white light of the other side, but a lightness in my heart. One night, I sat alone in my room and whispered, I choose me. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I truly belonged to myself. That was the moment I knew. I did not come back to earth to be small. I came back to be free. Every day now, I live with a quiet sense of purpose. I don't speak about the light because I want attention. I speak because I know what fear feels like, and I know what peace feels like, and peace wins. When I came back, I knew the message was simple: do not be afraid of death. We don't end. We don't disappear. The soul continues, soft and alive, just like the light that held me. Life here is only a chapter, not the whole book. After the accident, after the surgeries, after the years of confusion, I finally understood something. I didn't come back to be perfect. I came back to be real. Healing did not turn me into a different person. It helped me remember who I already was. Sometimes I sit on my couch with a mug of tea, and I think about that 19-year-old girl who went through the windshield. I wish I could go back to her in that moment, in the car, in the air, before the pain, and whisper in her ear, you're going to make it. You won't always feel lost. One day, you will know why. Because now, I do. Pain was not the punishment. Pain was the teacher. Trauma did not destroy my life. It broke the shell I was living in so my soul could finally breathe. I learned something very beautiful from the angels, and I want to share it with you in the simplest way I can. You do not have to earn love. Not from God. Not from anyone. You are already loved, because you exist. For so long, I tried to be what others wanted. I tried to be the perfect daughter. I tried to be strong, polite, silent. But now, I know that God, pure love, never asked me to shrink. Love never demands that you disappear. Love wants you to expand. It wants you to grow. It wants you to become whole. I don't try to please everyone anymore. I don't chase approval like breath. I let people who don't understand me drift away with peace. I allow myself to choose joy, even in small ways. I wear bright colors. I listen to music that feels like the sky. I take walks outside and notice simple things like sunlight on leaves and the sound of birds. I let life be soft. I let myself be soft too. One of the biggest lessons I learned is this. Life is not about being fearless. Life is about feeling fear and choosing love anyway. When I speak to people now, whether it's on camera, on stage, or in a quiet conversation, I see the fear in their eyes when death comes up. They tense. They hold their breath. And then I say the one thing I came back to share. It's not the end. It's just a return. I want you to know something. When your time comes, many years from now, you will not be alone. Someone will be there. Maybe an angel. Maybe a loved one. Maybe the same light that held me. You will be safe. You will be wrapped in that gentle warmth that feels like home. Until then, live. Wear colors. Say how you feel. Set boundaries. Choose yourself. Ask your angels for help. Take up space in your own life. You do not have to rush your healing. You do not have to prove your worth. You already are worthy. Every night before I sleep, I whisper, "Thank you for another day." And every morning when I open my eyes, I whisper, "I choose to stay." Not out of fear, but out of love. The more time passes, the more I realize that life did not give me a second chance so I could stay silent. I was brought back so I could speak. Maybe someone out there needed to hear these words. Maybe someone needed to know that pain does not mean the end of life. Sometimes, pain is the beginning of a new one. I wake up every day now with a different kind of gratitude. Not the kind where you pretend everything is okay, but the quiet kind that comes from surviving what should have killed you. Sometimes I sit near a window and watch the sunlight move across the floor. I place my hand in that warm patch and close my eyes. For a moment, it feels like the white light again. Not the same, but a reminder, a whisper from the other side saying, "You are doing fine, keep going." I don't chase perfection anymore. I don't chase approval anymore. I chase peace. I chase truth. And I chase moments that make me feel alive. Like laughter with people who understand me or silence with people who do not need me to perform. Healing is not fast. Some days I take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Some days old fears knock again. When they do, I imagine placing my hand gently on my own heart and saying, "You're safe." I practice kindness with myself because I know now that love begins inside. You cannot give what you do not have. I used to think loving myself was selfish. Now I know loving myself is necessary. I also learned how to let people go without anger. I don't force connections anymore. If someone cannot meet me with honesty or care, I release them with love. Not everyone is meant to stay. Not everyone will understand your journey, but the right people will feel like peace. They will not demand a smaller version of you. They will cheer for your healing, and they will walk beside you, not ahead or behind. Sometimes people ask me, "How do you know the angels are still with you?" I smile and say, "Because I feel them. I feel them when I am scared. I feel them when I'm scared. I feel them when I choose the harder thing, the brave thing, and in small moments like when a parking space opens up, or when I need strength I didn't know I had. I know they are helping." One night I sat outside and looked up at the sky. It was full of stars, millions of tiny lights. I breathed slowly and imagined all the people in the world who feel lost, scared, or alone. I imagined sending them light, the way the angels sent it to me. And in the quiet of that night, a thought filled my mind, simple and true. Maybe we are all here to hold light for each other. Maybe that is why we cross paths. Maybe that is why we stay alive. Not just to survive, but to shine. So here's what I want to leave with you. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are not done. There is a reason you are still here. Ask for help. Choose love. Choose peace. Choose you. One day when your journey is complete, you will return to that same light. And when you do, you will be held. Just like I was.